Welcome back to this Live the Sunday talk show here on the harass News channel. With me in the studio, I still have Professor Bola Akintenewa, Director General, Bolitech Center for International Diplomacy and Strategic Studies, and Professor David Awurawo, Professor of International Relations and Strategic Studies at the University of Lagos. The Academic Staff Union of Nigerian Universities, ASUU, the umbrella body of Nigerian university teachers, has extended its ongoing strike, which began on February 14, 2022, and has gone on for more than 200 days. The decision was taken on Monday this past week after a meeting of the National Executive Council of the Union in Abuja. The union is on strike over a dispute with the federal government on funding and various welfare issues. However, a spokesperson for the Federal Ministry of Education, Ben Gugun, said the government had taken all possible steps to end the strike, including the inauguration of a committee to harmonize the payment platforms proposed by the unions in the universities with the one that's currently operational, set up by the federal government. Meanwhile, an estimated 1.2 million Nigerian undergraduates have been forced to stay at home and some into the streets, owing to the ongoing strike by university teachers. Deborah Ojedele filed this report.
It's been over 6 months that the gates of federal universities across Nigeria have been shut due to the lingering industrial action by the Academic Staff Union of Universities. For this long period and still counting, with little or no hope in sight for possible resumption, many Nigerian students are utilizing what seems an unfortunate period to harness various skills.
It's tiring.
Daniel Ibrahim, a student of the University of Abuja, and Victoria Ariba, a student of the Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, are friends who are privileged with an alternative opportunity to be preoccupied.
This idle time, I have to get something doing, so I took my time to learn some computer repairs and software installing and the rest. So that's what I've been doing for now, but I'm thinking of switching to another job that pays me because I have to get paid at this point. You can't rely on your parents all the time. It's the second time I've been on strike, so I don't know, whatever it is for them to resolve, they should resolve it quickly, and government should try as much as possible to get things rectified.
I started to explore since we have like a wide range of time to explore on the educational sector. So I teach actually. I also want to explore my mind more by taking a voluntary job in hospitals and all of that.
One of those not so privileged is Oladejo Deborah, a 300 level student of the University of Abuja.
Seriously saying, it's actually my targets are students, so basically their absence really will affect my market, and of the truth, it has not been easy, but we are still hopeful.
Worried about the prolonged strike, Baba Kabiru, a lecturer of the Federal University Gashua in Yobe State, is appealing to the federal government to save the university system for the sake of the Nigerian child.
The student is a very difficult situation for a lot of students. Someone that was supposed to graduate last year, due to COVID-19, the graduation period was extended, and now this has come again and has also extended the graduating period for that student. So mentally, it's not easy also on the student. So if the government would truly fund this sector, we won't have needs for all this. So everything boils down to funding of the educational sector.
However, Dr. Shuaibu Abdul, a senior lecturer at the Nasarawa State University, KEFI, who now operates from his mini-store office in Abuja, says ASUU is prepared for an indefinite strike.
The strike is actually a function of circumstances. But from now, if government try to meet up with the demands and continue to maintain the tempo, let me tell you, we are not happy that we are on strike. most universities, agree that the strike should not be rollover, it should be declared indefinite.
A member of the House of Representatives, Shina Pella, emphasizes the need for a reset in Nigeria's education system.
If our education can be in this deplorable state, then it shows that the country itself is at the verge of collapsing. So it is now the saying that I believe that the young people must rise up now. It is beyond what the government can do now. Nigeria needs a reset. And when we say a reset, it means creating change, not the change by mouth that we've been hearing the past 10, 15 years. Because you can never create change by fighting the present failed system. If you want to create change, you must create a new system and make this present system obsolete. Our educational system is getting messed up day by day as this strike continues, and they have their own kids too that's been locked out of school. So whether we like it or not, I think this is a time, for both parties.
Well, joining us now to look at this matter is Ahmed Sajoh, a former Adamawa State Commissioner for Information. Good to have you here. The National Universities Commission is summoning a meeting for Tuesday, September 6th, to see if a consensus can be reached by pro-chancellors, vice-chancellors, and also other stakeholders within this academic community. Do you think that that consensus will be realized? Your take?
I think, Dr. Abati, we need to look at it from three broad perspectives. The first one is that everybody who is a parent in this country now must be concerned. And every patriotic citizen must be concerned about what is going on. We cannot continue to have public universities shut for this long and expect that we will not widen the already very wide social gap between those that have some resources and those that don't have. The bulk of the students that attend public universities are children of ordinary people, ordinary workers, ordinary laborers, farmers, and artisans. The people who are supposed to take decisions, for the rest of us, majority of them, their children do not attend these public universities. So what we are doing is that we are widening the social gap. We're making it very difficult for children of ordinary people to have university education. That is a major concern for everybody. The second one is that it appears that not just ASUU, but practically all of us sometimes want to go to heaven, but we don't want to die. ASUU has been calling for university autonomy. Everyone that is involved in education is talking about university autonomy. But university autonomy, it goes beyond just appointment of vice chancellors and then appointment of deans and heads of department by the university. I think we should go the whole gamut of insisting that our universities are not just autonomous, but they're able to take responsibilities that are supposed to be theirs. Technically, every university staff in Nigeria is a staff of the governing council of that university. But we've been so regimented that government determines how even universities are run. And so, a dispute between federal government and staff unions in federal universities had now engulfed even state universities. And so everybody is confused. Why can't we make these universities as autonomous as they should be? To the extent that, staff of universities become staff of these universities. The governing councils control matters that have to do with staff, the payment, the welfare, everything should be done according to the universities. The third leg of the argument, Dr. Abati, is that Nigerians are also being very hypocritical in the way we treat education in this country. People are willing, ready to take huge sums of money, go and pay for their children's education in Benin Republic, in Togo, in Ghana, for universities that are not anywhere near our own universities in rating. But they're not, when it comes to Nigerian universities, we want it to be subsidized to a level that is unsustainable. I think we must begin to have a rethink of all of these things. Can't we have an innovative way of funding our education system in such a manner that remuneration for staff should be determined by internal mechanisms in the university, and that parents, everybody that is involved, must contribute in a sustainable manner? We cannot continue to maintain subsidy regimes in education, subsidy regimes in agriculture, subsidy regimes in petroleum that are unsustainable, that makes life very difficult for us, that only benefit a few people, and the majority of the people go on and suffer. I think we need to look at that. We also need to look at the level, the quantum of academic staff we have within our universities. Because the quantum of academic staff is very low, academic staff teach in more than 1 or 2 or 3 universities in some instances. And that, again, creates a serious problem. I understand that no matter how we try to navigate it, one of the arguments we are having about whether we're using IPSIS or UTAS or any payment regime is to avoid the situation where an academic staff will find his name on the payroll of more than 1, 2, or 3 universities at the same time. I think we can navigate that. We can go the way others have gone. Be very autonomous, delineate responsibilities to a level that whatever responsibility anybody renders to any system must be rewarded according to a structure that we have set for ourselves.
Malam Sajoh, I get your point. You are asking for a paradigm shift in how the university's system is administered. And there are many
absolutely.
And there are many persons who will agree with you. But the big elephant in the room is that university lecturers are saying, ahead of the proposed September 6 meeting by the NUC, that look, the federal government cannot come around and say, if you didn't work for the past 7 months, then there will be no pay. So, will you advise the federal government to just pay the government and allow, peace? Because the Minister of State for Education was quoted in the papers today as saying that only criminals will ask for payment for work not done. Well, that looks like we are in a catch-22 situation.
No, I think the argument is valid on both sides. The government is very, very much, the argument of the government is very valid to the extent that somebody who does not work should not be paid. But the academic staff are also saying that most times when they suspend their work, they still carry on that same job and conclude it and do it in arrears. So if they can make up for the lectures that are missed, they can make up for the exams that are missed, they can make up for the supervisions that they have missed, they will abridge the session such that the loss on the part of the students will be minimal. If we expect them to do all of this, then we should expect that they should be paid for it. But if, as I am seeing now, is that some of the academic staff themselves, especially the leadership, are becoming very confused about where they are really heading to. They're beginning to denigrate the same system that brought them up by calling some universities degrading names, by not respecting some of their colleagues, and by issuing threats and blackmails against the students. And I think that to that extent, we should be able to say, look, both ASUU and government must come to a very reasonable understanding of the situation. We cannot be threatening each other. If ASUU goes on and threatens the students, uses the students as a weapon to threaten the government, and government uses the resources they are supposed to have released if things were going normal to threaten ASUU, there is no negotiation under a threat condition. That is the truth about it. But I believe that the pro-chancellors and the vice-chancellors are themselves ASUU members. They are themselves university professors. They understand the university system better. They are also agents of government because most of them are appointees of government. They should be able to provide a balance. a balance in such a manner that, each side of the argument must extract an understanding that we are not paying for work not done, and we are not collecting money for what we are not going to do. So at the end of the day, if they arrive at a confluence, we should be able to move the process forward. And let me continue, let me repeat what I have said. The continuous closure of public universities is widening the social gap. The social gap is too wide in this country today. We used to have three classes of people. We used to have the rich class, the middle class, and the lower class. Today, the middle class is almost nearly but wiped out. Dr. Ruben Abati, I and you, what we are referred to today in international parlance is that we are respectable poor. Not that we are not poor. We are poor, but we are respectable poor. So what we have are a class of people who are rich and a people who are poor. And this class, this widening gap is further being increased by the process of stopping children of ordinary people from attending universities. I think that should not be acceptable to anybody, and that should be something we must all focus on. Ordinary people have a right to have their children get university education because, of course, they are citizens, and the state has a responsibility for them. The university lecturers, most of them went to school on the backs of the ordinary people. The resources that was spent to educate them under a subsidized regime was from ordinary people.
Malam Sajoh, as they say, I reject poverty.
Yes.
I reject poverty in the name of God. You are categorizing me as one of the poor people. I reject it. Anyway,
respectable poor.
Last question that I would like to ask you. Are you optimistic about this meeting? Are you optimistic about this meeting that has been scheduled for Tuesday, September 6th? Because there are some lecturers who are saying this strike is not only comprehensive, total, and indefinite. They are also saying there's no room for dialogue. So should there be?
No, I don't think anybody should approach a negotiation in that manner. That there is no room for dialogue. That we have taken a final position. We're not going to shift ground. I think that is where I find fault with the argument posited by the leadership of ASUU. I have had the ASUU leadership go to the extent of even saying students and parents should not vote one way or the other. I think other things are coming into it. We shouldn't allow it. We should remain focused on why we are doing what we're doing, and we're doing it to better the education system in the country. And if we have to have a better education system in the country, then we must be committed to allowing some openings for understanding. And I am sure that if government listens very well to the pro-chancellors and vice-chancellors, who are the people on ground who understand the nuances of why the strike is taking place and what is happening, I guess we all of us will at the end of the day come to an agreement. And I think it's not just about ASUU and government, but it's about the entire education system in the country. It's about all of us, myself, yourself, and everybody. It's about anyone that is interested in the progress of this country. And so nobody should say because his own terms have not been reached maximally that there should be no solution to this. I think that is a wrong way to approach a negotiation process. That's a wrong way to approach a situation like this. And so at the end of the day, we hope and pray that the discussions that are going to take place on Tuesday will result in a template that will engage ASUU appropriately, and that ASUU too must understand that negotiation is about give and take. Nobody gets it 100%. And if you insist on getting it 100%, I think you're not being reasonable in matters of this nature. We must also consider the interests of other Nigerians. We must consider the interests of our students. We must consider the interests of our parents. We must consider the interests of everybody that is involved. But we must have a paradigm shift. We must begin to think and reason. We must, as parents, as ordinary Nigerians, we must begin to find means of funding education beyond just relying on government subsidies. Government subsidies are not going to last forever. We must find a way. At least, even if, I know that there are people who send their children to nursery schools, primary schools, and secondary schools that are very expensive, but at the end of the day, when you ask them to pay for university education, they tell you that the university education is too expensive. I think we must begin to have a rethink. We must have a mind shift in matters that concern the education of our children. That's, I must say that if reason prevails over sentiment, I am hopeful. But if we insist on our emotions and sentiments, I think we may just destroy the whole system, and it's not going to be of value or benefit to any one of us.
Well, thank you very much, Malam Ahmed Sajoh, for your insights and for your contributions to this all-important subject about ASUU strike and the future of education in Nigeria.